Hello, I'm Нулы Кумбс, and thank you for joining us in this workout session. Before we get going, Katja and I are going to show you some basic information that you need to get the most from your workout. The first thing we want to talk about is your actual standing posture. So if you could just stand with your feet parallel, Katja, and just as a beginning for your session, just think about being nice and tall and breathing fully and deeply. One of the main portions of our program today is going to be about your neutral alignment through your pelvis. And the quickest way to find that is quite simple. And if you could just turn to the side and place your hands on your hips, Katja. She's going to roll her pelvis back without bending her knees, and then roll her pelvis forward. She's going to keep doing that, forward and back, just to discover her extreme range of movement. And then slowly she's going to make that movement smaller and smaller until she comes to a space where she feels there's an equal balance between the front and the back of her pelvis, her pelvic bones. That's her neutral pelvis today. It's as simple as that. And then, once she's found her neutral pelvis, she's going to try and keep the bones in place by engaging her deep abdominals. And that's done very gently. It's not a strong contraction. So if you imagine you were wearing a belt, for example, and there were 10 notches on that belt, you would just pull that belt to the number 3. And then finally, we need to talk about the breath. Oftentimes, people breathe in a very shallow way. Maybe they're not aware of it. But when you're training and exercising, you need a training breath. And we're going to talk about lateral thoracic breathing today. Not only wide and full, but also to the front and the back. So she's going to breathe in for as long as she can. The chest will lift and the collarbones will open. And then she exhales and she'll feel the ribs closing. Now, in addition to that setup through the feet, the pelvis, and the breath, her shoulder blades are going to be sliding down her back. Just nice and easy, nothing forced, and a long neck. And everything quite natural, nothing too forced or military. Okay, Katja, now we've done that, let's take to the mat and just do some fundamental movements so that you're really clear about the foundation of the program that we're going to run through with you today. We're going to run through the basic setups in lying. So just bending the knees, they're just hip width apart, and she's going to find her neutral pelvic alignment. So let's just revisit that rolling back, Katja. And then she's coming back to the neutral alignment that she felt when she was standing up. That's great. And now the whole challenge here, when we start moving the legs, is that she doesn't move the pelvis. So when you're ready, on an exhale, you're just going to lift this knee up until it's directly over the hip bone, and the lower leg is at tabletop. So this in itself is a challenge. For many people, this is enough. The whole idea is that the leg is here, the abdominals are connected, and they're not bulging out. But if you feel that this is not quite enough of a challenge for you, you can always add the weight of the second leg. So when you're ready, up it comes. So again, the whole challenge is not really that the leg is here, it's while she's moving the leg and the fact that the pelvis stays stable. When she's finished with the movement, with her full breath, she's going to lower one leg, just one at a time, never lift 2 legs at the same time, and then lower the second. And we're going to run through a mobility movement for the low back. When you're ready, you're rolling the pelvis and lifting the hips up. Now she's using her abdominals and her gluteals for stability, but she's also using her legs. There's a breath here, and then she replaces her spine bone by bone. So the objective really is that we're stabilizing, but we're also mobilizing the whole of the pelvis. So just one more time, that nice deep pelvic tilt to the back, the floating up. It's almost like a wave through the body. An inhale at the top, and then slowly down. So nothing is rushed, it's always controlled, but you're always working. And now let's have a look at something on the side. So when you're ready, you're just rolling out on the side. The whole idea here is that we've got a nice even line. The shoulders, the hips, the knees, and the feet are all stacked one on top of the other. She's got her waist connected. Imagine cold water running under here. Now Katja has a space here You may not have a space, and that's okay. Don't force a space, for sure. Just make sure you've connected your abdominals, everything is in line, and maybe just a little glance down to see your feet and make sure that we're in a nice alignment. When she's ready to do it, she's going to just lift her top leg up and challenge that ability to remain in neutral and stable, and then lower the leg down. And again, often it's enough for some people. If they try and overload it, they lose their stability. But if it's possible, we lift both legs. And the sensation is of lengthening to lift and lengthening to lower. If the lift is small, it's okay. Don't force a big lift and lose all your alignment and stability. And then on to hands and knees. A really great abdominal exercise because it works through the big muscles of the back, the gluteals, the abdominals. There's shoulder stability involved and pelvic stability. So she's in her neutral alignment. She's got her abdominals connected. She's looking at the floor, nice long neck. And now she's going to reach away with her opposite arm and leg. First of all, just leaving the hand and the feet on the floor, challenging her ability to resist rotation and remain stable in the shoulders and in the pelvis. And now, if she feels she can, remaining and maintaining her stability, she's going to start lifting the legs and lowering. And the breath really as natural as you can, but we might suggest you breathe out and then you breathe in. And just finally, a movement in prone. So you're just going to lay down on your tummy. And this is challenging. It is hard. To hold your abdominals in connection while you lay in prone is kind of difficult, but we'll try. And with the arms in an E shape and the shoulder blades sliding down. What we would like Katya to do is just slide the shoulders up and then pull them down from the base of the shoulder blade, stabilizing the shoulder and the shoulder girdle. Let's do that 2 more times. Up and down. And remember, it's the shoulder blades that are moving. And the last one. And then once she's got this shoulder blade and shoulder girdle stabilized, she can think about lengthening to lift her head and chest off the mat, at the same time controlling the ribs. And then exhaling to roll down. Now, once again, please don't worry if this lift is very small. This is all about mobilizing thoracic spine and strengthening your lumbar spine. You may prefer to have the hands at the side of the body. And the same applies. You've got your belly connected, your shoulder blades sliding, and that sense of lengthening in opposition to lift. And down. And that's great. And with that basic information, we can go into the DVD now and work effectively.